All right, so looking at the markets, first of all, what do I do when I'm looking at the markets? I look at many different currency pairs. I typically look at all of the majors and the crosses associated with them. And what I have is, if I show you guys this here, I have in NinjaTrader, you have the opportunity to create what's known as sort of like, well, they call it a market analyzer. It's the equivalent to sort of creating a watch list of sorts, okay? And what it essentially allows me to do is have all of my currency pairs that I look at. Put that there like so. All of the currency pairs, and I can literally scroll through them and add ones that I'm interested in to a particular list, ones that are imminent for entry to another list, and so on and so forth. You guys can all do this with an Excel spreadsheet or something if you don't use something like NinjaTrader, although I highly recommend it as a platform. Yes, it is a paid platform, but it is very good, and I enjoy using it anyway. All right, so what I do, at the moment you've got what I've been looking at over the past few days. Okay, but if we start from the beginning, ultimately what I do is I go through each of the charts, and I literally click on a chart, I wait for the chart to show itself, I'll look at it and I'll see if it's moving, if it's trending. Now you guys know that I like to trade trending markets. Okay, I don't really like trading in the middle of consolidation, and therefore this here, this Aussie New Zealand was not actually on my watch list because to me it's not really moving anywhere. There's no real momentum in any one direction. After this momentum down here, it gave us an opportunity to enter, but after a couple of candles it showed us it wasn't going anywhere, then decided to retrace. So then this here doesn't necessarily represent momentum. What I'm looking at, and I'll show you what I like to see in terms of price action on these range charts in a second, is very nice flowing harmonic price action. Now you'll notice here that I have the daily charts below as well. For the daily charts, I'm looking at these. I'm not necessarily looking at these to show me a trend, but I'm looking at them for significant levels because I don't tend to like trading into trouble. Okay, so the daily chart doesn't necessarily have to be trending that heavily, but I use it as a reference. So for example, if I've got a signal to enter somewhere around here, I wouldn't be doing it because I'm going to be trading into the lows of this candle here, and you just don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to be taking the absolute best setups, okay, the no-brainer setups, the ones that you can look at and you can say to yourself, yes, I know why I got into that trade, and if that presented itself again, I'd get into it again, okay? The moving averages are the 100, the 60, and the 20. So I'll go through all of the charts and literally click through them and see if there's something of interest. Now, most of these here, there isn't that much going on at the moment. That's why they're up here. So we'll go through the ones where there has been some movement, there has been some interest, and there have been some trades that I've taken over the past couple of days. Obviously, I'm heavily short the yen, which means I'm long the yen pairs. There have been some fantastic opportunities on these pairs over the past couple of weeks, and this is ultimately what you're looking for. You see, if we compare this back to the Aussie New Zealand chart, right? Let me just go back there a second. Let's compare the two charts. This one here, you can see it's going sideways, so I'm just not interested in that, right? 45 range is nearest time frame, probably something like a 4-hour chart, somewhere between a 1-hour and a 4-hour chart, Koiki. Okay? So the Aussie New Zealand's going nowhere. Let's compare that to the New Zealand yen. Okay, the Kiwi yen, this guy over here, is clearly moving in a direction. It's very harmonic price action. The pullbacks look very nice, and it's giving you very clear signals to get in the direction of the trend. This is what we're looking to do. Typically, I'm trying to ride the price all the way up as it skirts up along the moving averages here. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to ride the price all the way up. So what I will do is I'll ultimately go through the charts, take a look at it, and see if it's going to set up. It's on my watch list if it's trending nicely. Okay, it goes onto my hot list over here if it looks like it's going to give me a signal. If it's not going to give me a signal, as in if it's somewhere at the top of this move here, I'm always looking for a price action to get into the trades, right? So if it's up at the top here, I will put it into my watch list, but I won't put it into the hot list down here. Okay, so the watch list, I'm sat here looking for trades, looking for potential pairs that can present me with an opportunity. And typically the watch list are the pairs that I will look at more often through the day than I would something like these over here, and the hot list I'll keep checking back, more frequently than that. Now, with the New Zealand yen, at the moment for me, it's right at the top. Okay. Now, typically I don't mind consolidation like this, where it just kind of goes sideways, but I prefer a nicer pullback. Okay, I prefer this kind of price action here. So you have a nice sort of, orderly price action, which gives you a clear direction to enter. The entry is very, very easy to spot. Yes, you can see that these consolidation periods will just kind of go sideways. It does give you an opportunity to go to take good trades, but I prefer getting into these ones here, where you get a nice pullback, a nice opportunity to get into the trade in the direction of the trend. Okay. So for the New Zealand yen, for me, the Kiwi yen, at the moment, yes, there's a beauty. Looking at the daily chart, look left, absolutely nothing in the way. So this looks like something that potentially is going to be interesting for me next week. This can pull back a little bit to this sort of previous area of support there around the 92.51, or even if it can get back to the 93.31, I'll be looking for my signals to get long.